any idea, but I saw your little you're done bit at the end on the last one standing ticker. Unless John put that in, not you. I guess John did. Someone wrote like at the very bottom.
I would have rolled with it. All good. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good.
And the rhythm of your heart as it breaks right down. Still I hear it sometimes. It's beating out loud. There's still a lot
Sounds
to
good.
say.
Yeah, that sounds good. And excuse me. Once we settle up the next 2 weeks, I have a rough outline of the month ahead. I'll share once we're done.
Yeah, I got something written down, so I'll share it afterwards.
I gave her every damn piece of me. I wanna leave this whole thing. Just give up and surrender. And the rhythm of your heart as it breaks right down. Still I hear it sometimes. It's beating out loud. There's still a lot to say. Just spit it right out.
You got that out there. Oh yeah. Sorry. You still got the title on it.
All good. If you all can hear me. Happy Halloweeny.
Yeah, I remember all that. Scroll up. Make sure you scroll up. All right, here we go. Ready, Juice?
Yep, Freebird can hear us. No, we're
Yeah, I know.
big.
They can hear us. All right, I told John. 3, 2. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the SharpSHOOTers. Anyone who's on early, hope you like the backstage commentary. Juice, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. It is Halloween. The trick-or-treaters are lining up at the door for the SharpSHOOTers podcast, live in the studio. Your parents are here though too. I promise. I'm ashamed of you, Danny. I'm surprised you even noticed me in my Halloween costume.
I don't know what that means. I see the
You're not-
DMD, but I'm not
You
sure.
not see who? I'm a Britt Baker fan. I figured you wouldn't even be able to recognize me in my Halloween costume this year. But it's me.
You're the worst.
I'm here. I made it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're hiding from the trick-or-treaters in our house. We have all the lights off and stuff just to make sure they don't ring the doorbell and don't interrupt. Fingers
Hide your
crossed.
kids.
Where's Matt? That's a great question. Matt is still with his baby. So, baby. So, yeah, hopefully we get Matt back soon. He might be dropping in sporadically this month, but no promises. So we'll see how it goes. But alas, the show must go on. So this week we had, this past Tuesday, we did our Frankenstein. We hope you all really enjoyed those. Those are some very interesting characters.
I love them.
Would like to see the baby. We would also like to see the baby, Marie, but until Matt gets on, we can't see the baby. Not at all. So, yeah. So we did some Frankensteins. How'd you feel about them afterward, now that it's some time to marinate?
Oh, I love them both. I think they're both beautiful creations, and anybody that's disgusted by them should be ashamed of themselves. Listen, it's the best of the best, all different body parts. I think they're all both beautiful. If you did not see them, by the way, head on over to our brand new Facebook page as well as our Twitter. They're shared there right now on our socials. And let us know what you think of them if you did not see our show on Tuesday. Also, you can check out down below in our link tree. We have links to the Twitter, to our YouTube. You can watch it on demand if you missed it live. And by all means, just want to take a minute here, pay the bills real quick. If you have not subscribed to us before, now is a great time to do so. We'd really appreciate all the support. If you look in our chat, we put some instructions for you on how to do so. You can do so through our Amazon Prime using your Amazon Prime Gaming. It's free for you to use for us to support us. Or if you want to support us the old-fashioned way with actual monies, we'd appreciate that too directly. So do take some time, read through the chat, see your instructions. I think it's very easy to do, and I really appreciate it. We all appreciate it, of course. It's that time of year. It's the holidays. They're practically here now. Halloween's all over, right? So let's support our loved ones, and 'tis the season.
We are halfway to our sub goal of 10. We are at 5, which is the most we've been in a while. So we thank you guys. I know everyone's been kind of busy with the month-to-month stuff. So we thank you guys for taking the time and supporting us in that way.
Any support helps. It does.
Without-
As you can see, we're trying to expand. So
don't look at that part. Just over here. Anyway.
I didn't see.
So, without further ado, we are introducing our new format for Thursdays called Last Point Standing. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Name.
I love it. I really do love it. I think it's a great name. Thank you for that, Juice. That's all Juice. I got to give him all the credit on that. He is the creative one of the two of us. I'm not sure which one.
It's a team effort.
I'm not sure.
It's a team effort.
So, for those of you that weren't here last week when we unveiled it, we are now doing a point by point. We're just what we want to talk about. Last time, every time we've been doing like our notes, which is pretty similar, but this is a little more organized, a little more formatted, and this way you guys can keep up. And if there's something you want to talk about, you know where it's going to come up. And if it's something that you want to talk about that's not on here, then you can start throwing it in the chat, and you can talk to us all you want.
Tell us we're wrong.
We're going to try to stick to the 5 minutes, but sometimes there's going to be just we got to talk. And sometimes we got to talk for a little over the 5 minutes, and that's going to happen. But we're trying to keep to the 5 minutes for all of us.
Ooh, I got more time than okay.
When we get to the WWE section, we didn't we do 3 last? No, we did 5.
We did 3.
We did 3. The producer's messing with me. Then, son of a b.
It's okay. It's
all
okay.
right.
We won't use the whole 5.
Definitely not using all
each.
5 for each topic. That would be like a very long session. We're trying to keep it to
We'll
45
we'll
to
be
an hour
fine.
for you guys. So
we'll be fine.
Also tonight we are talking about my least favorite pay-per-view because we gotta do predictions. Literally my least favorite pay-per-view, probably of all time, that continuously goes. I hate it. I'll hate it every year. I try not to watch it. I try to stream it so they don't get any of my money. But Crown Jewel will be this weekend, so we do have to do our predictions, unfortunately. We will be doing those after the break, as you can see with the WWE portion. But first, we start with the company that we always hope gives us some joy every week, AEW. Juice, start us off, baby.
Yeah. So, we're going to start off with Collision, do a little bit of FT Runners. We want to talk about FTR and the Outrunners. I loved their backstage segment this week.
So much fun.
On Collision. I don't know if you saw it or caught it.
Yep.
I loved when I forget which one. I think it was Turbo.
I don't know their names well. I don't, but that's par for the course.
You can clearly tell he like missed his cue or his line.
Yeah.
And there was like this awkward pause where Dax is like, "Are you gonna go? Do you want me to finish for you?" And like it was, I loved it. So that made me laugh really good.
But honestly,
I
that pairing has really been good for such a long time. Like when they first started with it, I wasn't sure how good it was going to be, but they've really taken off. The Outrunners are so much fun, and I can't wait to see where they go with this, with their whole shtick. I hope we'll talk about it later, but I hope that leads to like a tag team title run and everything. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's been good, and I think it's been good for both of them right now. And the one interesting I also wanted to add in with this was when the Outrunners were, when the Outrunners were facing MXM. Excuse me, they showed Johnny TV backstage watching, and I mean it's a good pairing. If you're going to put Johnny TV with MXM, I think it works. I think they'll fit in very well if they put them together as a trio. So just something to keep an eye on, but. I like it. I like Johnny TV. I don't like MXM, but it's a good pairing.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a lot better than Rico. So I think that'll help them.
Oh yeah, for sure. So my next point, probably my highlight of Collision, was the Nigel McGuinness Wheeler Yuta segment. I thought was very well done. I think it set the tone for things to come with Nigel. Like I immediately want to see Nigel versus Yuta.
Yep.
Immediately want to see that match. I think the Nigel face turn down the line, or the one that's already basically happening gradually.
I was gonna say it started happening once Danielson went down. Like it started happening a while back, and
it's in motion.
That interview really solidified. Like here it comes, here we go. And the Batman line was great. I agree, the Batman line was so good. And then even for Wheeler, like that set up Wednesday perfectly. Like that was so good for Wednesday, and I loved it. I loved the whole interview. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, very well done. I'm looking forward to it with Nigel getting involved as a baby down the line. It's gonna be great. And yeah, the Batman line. I was gonna bring that up as well. That was great. That you're mad we beat him before you or whatever. So yeah, my next point, pretty short one. Ricochet. I don't know how you're feeling about it. What are your thoughts on Ricochet's new finisher?
I don't
what
like
do you think?
I'd rather him do what he's like his top. Like I don't know. I just like what he used to do. I just don't like this new one. I don't understand why they're. Is it because he's trying to be more heel, so they're trying to give him something different? Because like that's what they did with Finn Balor in NXT, but that one was a good finisher, so like it worked.
Yeah, I don't think it's a heel thing. I think because when he first came in, if I remember, he was doing like a reverse DDT, like lift up suplex drop kind of move, and I think they've clearly made it obvious that he's doing this in like counter to Ospreay, like the hidden blade, but instead of an elbow from behind, it's more of a basically running clothesline lariat.
Yeah,
I just don't think it works for him. Like I get what they're trying to do, I guess, with Ospreay, but. I don't know. It doesn't really work for me as a move.
It just
doesn't.
Ricochet.
But...
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't
Maybe
know.
with
It
time.
just
Maybe with time. Just I don't know. It's different
I
than
get
prayer
that they're also trying to
goes.
do a different move because like they don't want him to hurt himself. After all, you can only do so many top rope moves and stuff like that. That's fine, but he can still do something like a little more like acrobatic with the way he wrestles. I don't know. I agree. It
Yeah.
doesn't work, and a lot of
Yeah.
people have used that move in the past as just like not even a signature, as like a setup, just like in the course of wrestling. So I don't really think it's like a good finisher for anyone in general.
I mean, any move can work as a finisher if the right person's doing it the right way. So I won't fight that one, but I don't think Ricochet's the right person. I mean, it is. Think about the DDT and the Sweet Chin Music, but
Yeah.
either way, off point. Moving on to the next point. Want to get into Mark Davis. Welcome back. Now we're on Dynamite. Mark Davis is back. I just find it interesting. He just walks out like he just woke up in the back of a car. I like Mark Davis. I like Aussie Open. We'll see where it's going, but
I mean, I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
obvious where it's going.
Well, I mean, he could either team up with him or split from him. And I forget where he got hurt, like what body part hurt, but he was still limping, like he's not ready. So I don't know.
He
It's been
didn't.
almost a
He
year.
didn't look like he was in shape. Like, not that he looked
Yeah.
fat or anything. I'm saying he didn't look like he was in ring shape. So even if he like is kind of healed up, he definitely needs some more time to like get back in the swing of things. I
Mhm.
I
Could be a
agree
long-term
that it's
thing.
just
We'll
kind of not random, but also random. Where like he hasn't been around, no one's really mentioned him. So I guess like it makes sense that he just comes out of nowhere to defend Osprey when he needs it. I don't
Yeah.
think he's joined the Callis family though. I think they're gonna use that to more solidify Fletcher as a heel and like really let him like he
Mhm.
needs to let go of his past. That's part of his past.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm fine with it. I have no problems with it at all. I just hope that Mark Davis is in good enough shape and healthy being back. That's the thing. We'll see with time. He may, maybe like Omega, and he'll be gone for months still. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's what
Because
I'm
again, I
about also.
think it's been legit a year. I think he got hurt like around this time last year or a little earlier.
Jay
So
DeFalco says he thinks it was a wrist injury that took him out.
was it wrist? Okay, then the limp, I have no idea.
That was just part of the act, man. That's how he walks.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a good time to bring it up since I got a few, I got like a minute or so. I just want to add in, and I said it to you last night via text. The only thing I did send you, this is a trend now where it's the second week in a row where this Dynamite was better overall, but it still had a lot of flaws. And I did not like the formatting where the first like hour was only one real match. It's the second week in a row they've done that, and I don't like where it's going. So just had to put that out there. Not really crazy about it. I had a lot of hopes for this week, and now I gotta have a lot of hopes for next week. And one times
And again, like you said, the matches weren't bad. I don't agree with the way they formatted the show. Like even the way they place certain matches in certain segments and places, I don't agree with that either. Because we'll talk about that later when we get to it. But like, yeah, it just didn't make sense to me. I agree with you.
yeah, it's just we'll see how next week goes. But just after the last 2 weeks, it's been the same format where they've done one really good match from like 8:15 to like 8:30 ish, and then like all of a sudden it was 9 o'clock, and I was like, "What the hell? We have one match." But okay, enough of that. Moving on to the next point. Orange Cassidy, John Moxley, official, full gear for the world title. We all saw it kind of coming. We all knew it was gonna, be the match for full gear. I love it. I love what they're doing with him being the reluctant, like not a hero, not a leader kind of thing. I thought it was a very strong opening promo. I thought the attack with Chuck Taylor last week we didn't talk about was very well done. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's the right
post segment that you sent me, like after it went off the air with the way he screamed at them and stuff. I thought that was great. I thought that was well done as well. Like it was all. Oh, we don't talk about that anymore, Jay DeFalco. I apologize. There's no more ROH talk apparently.
By all means, Danny, you can say and talk about it however much you want. I've just made for those of you that did not watch last week, I made a proclamation. I will no longer be discussing any Ring of Honor championship, any Ring of Honor champion talents, any of them are on AEW television doing stuff on AEW television. So Danny, you can talk about it.
I'll do a quick note of that. I do agree that it was a segment that didn't need to take place. It was a good backstage segment. It probably would have been better pre-taped where they could have done it more. I think the segment with Jericho and the Learning Tree was just kind of it fell flat for sure.
My last note about
with the OC Mox thing. Sorry. You said I could let him know. Jesus. I love the way it opened up. I love how They were doing the repackage. They were showing you what happened last week, and then all of a sudden, like Orange comes out and interrupts it. I wasn't expecting it, and like usually I fast forward through the recap because I remember what happens. Luckily for this week, for some reason I didn't, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad I didn't. That would have sucked if all of a sudden he was just in the ring. I was like, wait, how did that? Like, what happened there?
Yeah,
So
you would have missed
I love that.
them all.
And
My one.
are you gonna keep talking about the segment, or are you talking about the end of it? Sorry, you go.
Well,
first.
yeah, I was gonna give the whole. It's not really OC and well, I was gonna bring up the Yuta attack, how they kind of like later on in the night.
Yeah, please. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, later on in the night they kind of used Wheelie Yuta as a ploy, as a ruse to get like Orange to come out. It's like they would have totally done it. I like the detail of Marina slapping Yuta afterwards to snap out of it. So clearly Yuta didn't know they were gonna do it, which I think was a nice important detail. But yeah,
that goes back from Saturday saying that he's willing to do like whatever it takes to send the message, and whatever words he used for that. But that was like pretty much the message that like I'll sacrifice myself for the greater good kind of thing. So watch that happen Wednesday, then him just snapping out of it and going back on the attack is like, oh man, of course, like he's not going to be butthurt about it, like he's going to make sense. What I didn't like was how like I thought they were going to let Darby kind of marinate a little more. And I was expecting it to wait after the OC thing or after OC loses where like another leader comes in. Not that I didn't like it. I just didn't expect it. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, especially with what happens later on in the night. Like I wanted Darby to be the savior, not another general leading up to who it looks like they're going to be the saviors. And I don't like that they're going to be the saviors, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, he still will be though.
I agree with that. Also, I do think the crowd did well for his return. I don't think the camera did well for his return.
Yeah, crowd was fine.
I think the crowd was good, but the camera did.
Okay. Well. Moving on to the next point, I want to talk a little bit about Undisputed Kingdom.
All right.
So, first off, one note I had from Collision that I wanted to bring up. I'm very upset with AEW for not following through with a segment I was really looking forward to ever since Saturday. I could have swore we were going to get the Undisputed Kingdom going trick-or-treating with Beast Mortos. And they never did it. Like, I don't know if you remember on Collision what happened. Like when they offered him like the meats and the cheeses, and then they were like, I
didn't think that was actually going to happen though, but that's hilarious.
Well, they gave him the candy, and they're like the bags, and they're like, we're gonna go trick or treating. Come on, Mortos, and they all walked off together. I was like, oh, that's perfect. So now on Wednesday for Fright Night Dynamite, they're gonna be going trick or treating with Beast Mortos.
That would have been great.
And like, it's the one time I would have wanted like a dumb segment. Like I just wanted that, and nothing. They didn't do it.
Damn,
broke my heart.
That's fucking hilarious.
Next, I want to talk about then Cole and Buddy Matthews. Listen, I love Cole. Big Cole guy. First match back in like a year plus. Obviously going to have rust, especially with as brutal of an ankle injury as he had. I mean, wasn't the best match. And I think that was obvious. I mean, I don't know how you felt about it. It wasn't a great match. He didn't look that great. So I'm just hoping he keeps getting reps and he can build it back up. But not a great start in my opinion.
What I feel bad about, and I hate, like, I don't know if it's body shaming or whatever, but like he just, again, he doesn't look like Adam Cole in NXT kind of ring shape. And then when you put him next to Buddy, Mr. Matthews over here, who's just like ripped as fuck, like he just doesn't look as good. And then when he's moving slow and stuff, that just makes him look even worse. I'm not saying like he's not. I love Adam Cole, and I can't wait for him to get back to get back to his regular pace and stuff. But just I don't think that was the best first match back opponent for him. That's I think what I mean.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, who could have been at that point? Because you're trying to make him beat three people, and clearly it looks like they're going to have him beat Buddy, Malachi, and then Brody.
Yep. And
then I would assume Roger's going to face like Rouge, Trilistico, Mortos. I don't know, but we'll see. And the last thing I wanted to add about that, I wasn't really crazy about his promo this week was better, Cole, than last week in the ring about MJF. The only thing I didn't like was when he started going like, I love AEW. I'm here to defend AEW against you. Like that's not what this story is. Like, I don't need the whole rah rah AEW stuff in this story when
Yep,
like you're doing it
that's
so much everywhere
as your
else.
main story, like that. This is not
Yeah.
that.
Like, it's okay for this just to be like a blood feud where like, hey, yo, I hate you, and like that's it. Like, I don't need the AEW flag being waved here.
Like that's supposed to be
personally,
Roddy's part of it, so I hope that's also like that. That's how I expected Cole's part of it to be as well. I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, and then, maybe they'll end up using that against Adam when they turn on him, but whatever. Okay. Next point, and I gotta tell you,
man, go first, please.
congratulations to Private Party on becoming the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Long overdue. They deserve it. Well booked in the last few months to build up to this. Very well done. I got to give props to Mark Quinn at the end, because all the build up and teasing of, oh my God, they might split. He's going to be the one that's going to go heel, go with Stokely. I don't know if you caught it. Go back and rewatch during the 3 count. Not planned. Maybe I'm overthinking, but they had Mark Quinn positioned very well in the ring, and then he turned at the right time during the 3 count to make you think he was going to break up the 3. And like, so it got me because I was like, oh shit, like he's gonna do it. He's gonna break the 3, like, and like, ruin it, and they did it. So I loved it. Do I think the Wrestle Dream match was better? Yes, but that doesn't really matter at this point. They won. I'm thrilled that they won. Much needed for the tag division, and honestly, just for AEW at this point with all the heel champions, and a win for the good guys against like BCC and all this other stuff going on. So
my only 2 issues were I think it should have happened at Wrestle Dream. Personally, I just think it would have been like, I understand the stakes and everything, and I understand the extra few weeks that like build it up a little more. So I don't mind that. I wish they kind of made this stipulation then at Wrestle Dream, because I think on a pay-per-view for them, they kind of earned that spotlight for it. That's just my one gripe. My second gripe, though, is if you're not going to do it on the pay-per-view, give them the main event. Let this, like, big shocking win. I get the comeback, and as much as I personally love Lashley, I don't love him enough where I think he should have been the last thing over them, when every segment with Shelton Benjamin and Swerve hasn't even been close to the main event or anything like that. So that was my only gripe, that I think they deserved more of the spotlight. But I agree.
So
the match was great.
I agree with you on match placement, but I could have easily had it either open or close. I wouldn't have put it in the middle of the show. That I wouldn't have done.
Fine.
You could have easily opened the show. You could have done Bobby and tag titles, open, close, or flip. But like putting one middle,
Bobby
one end,
open,
that
personally.
was yeah. Either one would have been fine. Let's see, chat. Jay says they've done this a bunch. Have a great pay-per-view match that make people win titles on Dynamite, i.e. Thunder and the Acclaimed. Yeah, I didn't really mind that. I didn't mind the rematch happening here personally. But really
like
quick,
said,
I
just think some of these guys deserve the pay-per-view spotlight with it. Like, that's why you also kind of go ahead. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, it's fine. Really quick, I wanted to get in about the Young Bucks. I'm very thrilled. I'm very intrigued now that they're going to be working from home, no longer going to be around, it seems, at least for a while. I think it's the right call to get them off TV and away from all this stuff as the EVPs that is going on. So not even as a hater, just from a storytelling standpoint, it's the right call to get them away and get some distance. Even if you're going to bring them back as a baby with Kenny and Coda to fight. I don't know. We'll see. But
so that
I
was
like the whole
my question.
Yeah.
If they come back as baby faces, do you feel like the heel EVP storyline was kind of a waste then? Because I feel
absolutely.
Like nothing got accomplished and there was no payoff
Yep.
for it.
I agree. I mean, maybe the payoff is them like coming back and realizing they were wrong. I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but yeah. I agree. Real quick, one last note. I mean, that Cutler hammer hit, not great. Not great. I don't know if you caught it. I mean, Claudio missed by a mile, man. That's where WWE, at least with the camera work, gets 100%. Annoying, but
100%.
They know what they're doing.
And they do this all the time at AEW, where they just really botch those spots, man. It's so bad.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
I don't mean all the time, but like,
this one was
they
bad.
do it more often than WWE, so it gets highlighted so much more than it should.
Yeah. And my last note regarding AEW, the debut of the one and only Morpheus
Wait, what?
aka the pleather couch himself,
Wait, that's not his name.
Mr. Booby Lashley,
No.
has arrived
Bobby.
in AEW, and I have to say,
Bobby.
he looked like a couch.
He did look really. That suit didn't do him any favors.
I wanted to sit instantly.
That was a bad suit.
On him. And listen, I made it very clear I don't like him. This was inevitable. I knew it was coming. Still don't like it. I'm not looking forward to this. I'm sorry. I like MVP. I like Shelton. I like Swerve. I love Nana. I don't like Bobby Lashley. I don't like to see where this goes. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I feel like I've seen 20 years of his career now to know him enough. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. My one last note about it, and then you can speak about it, is I feel like he looked a little smaller than usual, but maybe I'm just not remembering him. Granted, he was also in a little Twizzler, so who knows?
I think that was the suit. I don't think he's any smaller. I think that was just the suit, just really, just again, not doing any favors. It's and we talked about this before. You either like Bobby and his style, or you don't. I personally do like his style. I always liked him with MVP, and I think we talked about it. His best run was in TNA, where he wasn't handcuffed by WWE storyline and WWE, how they have to talk and stuff. So I am excited to see him with MVP. I'm excited to see Shelton, who looks like he's dialed the clock back. I want to see how they do it. I mean, the only complaint is the same complaint we have every time they bring in you guys, just where do you put him? He's a main event talent, and you have the main event scene really piled up. So, like, he's just going to kind of fade in the background after a thing. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, and listen, I mean, to go to your like WWE restricted note, I mean, he was in TNA for a long time. I've seen him unrestricted. He's not lighting the world on fire. Sorry.
Again, I and that's where we disagree. I thought his TNA run was pretty good, and I don't think it's anything special. I'm not saying he's like, I don't think he's one of the best ever, not at all. But I think he's just a good talent that can do a good match. So that's all I care about.
Do good match. Sorry, last note regarding this Lashley debut. We'll talk about sloppy production stuff for AEW. I mean, what's with the producer referee yelling 90 seconds, 30 seconds?
What the fuck, bro?
Come on,
that was
do better.
Crazy.
Do better.
So loud, like every mic picked it up. It was so bad. I thought I was going nuts at first. I was like, I didn't just hear that. They didn't say that, and then they said 30 seconds. I was like, he's still doing it. Like, how is no one telling him to shut the fuck up? That was so bad.
Yeah, very disappointed. So but yeah, that's my last point for AEW.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Hope you liked all the AEW talk. If there's something we didn't talk about, please put it in the chat. We will talk about it when we come back from the break. We're going to take a break right now. While we take a break, please look at the chat if you didn't get a chance before. If you need help with the subscription or don't know what to do, step by step is in the chat now. Please stick around. We'll be right back.
Step by day by day. Yeah.
Sitting home to write one line to find out why. Not of time. Should have said what's been on my mind. Then know why. Just one night, not of time. Should have said what's been on my mind, then know why. Words that were said are running around. spin on my mind, and then know why. As it goes on, your feelings tend to be altered, and I can't blame you now they're faltered, 'cause every time she turns around I get the feeling she'll say, like a river flows our hearts will go in different ways. For the familiar whispers, they were set aside, and for the sailing disasters that'll cry tonight, and I won't drown with her. She capitalized, and I won't know the way ash and the ashes fly. The ashes fly.
That's because I didn't put the mics back on. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry about that. I learned how to turn the mics off during the break, and I forgot we had to turn them back on during the break. So sorry about that. So up on the screen are our predictions.
Clown show.
I love it. Up on the screen are our predictions. From now on, we'll just be showing you guys the predictions at the start of our segments. We're not going to go through each one step by step, but we'll just let you guys know what we all picked. We all picked Cody Rhodes and Nia Jax. 2 out of 3 picked Bronson Reed over Seth Rollins. 2 out of 3 picked KO over no contest over Randy Orton. No one picked Randy Orton. Triple threat, we each picked someone different, which is very, very interesting. Fatal 4-way, we all said the tag champs are going to be retaining. And for the Bloodline versus Bloodline, 2 out of the 3 said the new Bloodline will beat the old Bloodline. So very, very interesting. Let's see how that all works out. So, sorry about the technical difficulties again. I hope you guys can hear us. I think you can because I heard you on my phone. So, starting our talks with WWE. First thing I want to let you know, did you see anything this week? Did you read any recaps, anything at all?
Yeah, I read recaps, and I also read spoilers for tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, unfortunately there was one spoiler because we had to do the Bloodline versus Bloodline match. We'll get to that stuff. Anyway, the SmackDown ending was interesting. SmackDown ending was the finals of the Tag Team No. 1 Contenders Championship, where we had Motor City Machine Guns versus Do It Yourself, DIY.
There you go. Letters.
That was a great match, as expected. Motor City Machine Guns won, as expected. No issues there. Last week, you had asked me where they are defending the Tag Team Championships, and I hesitantly said, I think Crown Jewel. I hesitantly said that because they never announced it, and I didn't think they had announced it. And sure enough, right after that match, there was so much time left in the show that I was very curious how they were going to end the show. Out comes the Bloodline. I thought they were gonna do their typical like, I'll challenge you. Here, here's the match, and surprisingly, they did the title match. Very interesting, and that was purely a storyline match. So I didn't mind how it ended. The only thing I hated about the match was that Roman Reigns got a full entrance in the middle of the match, and then the match ended after it. It was wild. So if you didn't see how that match ended, they challenged him to the tag team championships right after. Motion Machine Guns accepted it because they said anytime, any place. And Solo was like, what about right now? And Nick Aldis was trying to defend them, and they said, no, we'll do it. The match is happening. As interference is happening, Jimmy Uso interferes. Then, as they're bringing down Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns gets an entrance. He comes out, his music plays while the match is happening, gets an entrance, comes out, chases a bunch of them out. So now it's just the Motion Machine Guns and the Tongas wrestling in the match. Then Jey Uso gives some payback for the Raw ending and costs them the tag team championships, and that's how they lose the championships, and Motion Machine Guns win the tag team belts.
Oh, brother. All right, so that's a little unfortunate. I didn't realize it was like that messy and involved. I knew they won them, which is, I guess, a nice surprise. Nice for them. I like the Machine Guns a lot.
I love the Machine
still,
Guns.
Still upset they're there, but whatever. At this point, they're
Agreed.
they're getting their money, so good for them, I guess. But yeah, it's unfortunate that it was so story like overbooked and whatever. I'm curious how long the match itself was, but at this point,
say
whatever.
no more than like 7 minutes. It wasn't a long match.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It was, like I said,
Whatever.
purely storyline, and half the match was, the interferences. Like, they were literally wrestling for most of it. And that's our new timer.
It's alright, because I'm Saved by the Bell.
Which actually leads us perfectly to our next anyway, which is the Bloodline storyline, which has been terribly booked. I really, truly hate it, and it's getting worse. Last we left off, did we
just talk about that?
Yeah, but it gets worse. So last we left off, they cost Jey the championship. Jey paid him back and cost them the championship on SmackDown. Now we go to Raw. Jey comes out, talks about how, he had to do the payback, yada, yada. Jimmy comes out. They do the whole, we had to embrace, we had to get back. At no point does Jey Uso kind of say, like, no, Roman has to come to me. Roman has to come beg me, whatever. You know what I mean? He was saying, like, we're not his lackeys. We're not his sidekicks anymore. We're back together. And then Jimmy's like, well, come to SmackDown and talk to Roman and we need everyone. And if you're booking this, if you're Jey, first off, he's not my tribal chief. Stop calling him the OTC. He's Roman Reigns because I'm not his sidekick. And secondly, Roman should come to me. Roman wants me. Come to Raw. You come talk to me. But no, he has to go to SmackDown. Whatever. Then the Sami Zayn gets involved, and this is where I really fucking hate it now. Because, and we're going to get to the crown jewel thing because that's the Sami Zayn part I was talking to you about. Sami Zayn gets involved into this shit now, where he's trying to talk Jey out of hanging out, out of going back and going back with them, which is fine. That's where it should have ended. But of course, that's not where it ends. Later on, Jimmy says, I'll go talk to Sammy for you. I don't like the way that ended. As he goes to find Sammy, he sees Sammy in the parking lot talking to Solo. So now there's this whole thing, and Jey sees that as well. So now Jimmy and Jey see Sammy talking to Solo. They don't trust Sammy now, and that's that storyline going into SmackDown.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Where's The Rock?
No, I was about to say, and still no Rock.
Still
no Rock.
It's been like a month, hasn't it? Like, what? Why?
Still no Rock. No idea.
So I mean, like, and also Roman is technically a free agent. He never got drafted in the last draft.
Apparently, he's not.
If I recall. Oh, but if I recall, Paul took him out of the draft.
Yeah. Agree.
So he should be able to go.
Apparently, Jimmy can go wherever he wants.
It's all.
So can the Bloodline. They can go wherever they want to.
So gone.
And this is all.
Yeah.
Like, I'll explain that later. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. So I mean, I just feel like there's. Granted, shame on me last time for thinking Cody and Roman were gonna lose, but I feel like there's way too much going on. Like with War Games coming up in like 3 weeks, like I feel like you would assume whoever wins a crown jewel, the other one's winning at War Games. You would think.
I would think,
So it's just like,
but then in my head, you just did this whole big comeback. You just did this whole big reunion with the Usos and stuff, with Jay coming back. And we're
yeah,
gonna
but
go over a little time here. That's all right, because I want to talk about this a little more. Are you really gonna ruin the reunion? Because apparently they hate ruining the good storylines now. So I don't fucking know. It's a bad storyline, no matter how you and like from what I read with the spoilers, the way it even led up to the match for Crown Jewel, even SmackDown, I'm gonna be mad once I watch it. Like once
which
I
is
see how
funny
it plays
because
out, it's gonna be so.
apparently
terrible.
they announced the match is official on Raw, even though SmackDown didn't happen yet. It was pre-taped.
Very confusing.
Whatever. All right.
Very confusing.
Okay.
So only a little time over there. Nice. Next one. So excited about this. Dirty Dom. So last we left off, Dirty Dom had to face a former world champion if he wanted to be the next #1 contender. Enter Damian Priest. Dirty Dom beats Damian Priest. And it looks like Dirty Dom's the new #1 contender. I don't know for when then, though.
Did he beat him clean?
Of course not. He said he wanted to beat him clean, and then a whole bunch of interference happened, and he was able to roll him up. And then the show ended with Damian Priest cleaning house and chokeslamming the shit out of everyone and walking out. So that's your new #1 contender.
We're really gonna get Dom versus Walter at freaking Survivor Series, aren't we?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a little time here since we have the extra time, because that's all we really have to talk about for Dom and Priest, where Crown Jewel really, I think, ruined some storylines and rushed them, and this is why we're getting the crap we're getting now. Gunther versus Sammy, I think, what the hell happened? We even expected, like, after that Raw match, they would build up a little more. Maybe they'd go past Crown Jewel, whatever. It was just that quick Raw match, so that whole thing got rushed because now they're trying to get Sammy involved in the bloodline thing. I thought that would play out a little bit more. I'm not too crazy. I wasn't too crazy about that in the first place, that they even revisited that storyline, but it was just weird how quickly they did it, and then they moved right on to Crown Jewel, and now they're already after Crown Jewel, they're doing this whole Dom thing. And then the other storyline is clearly the bloodline storyline, where like you could have rushed out, you could have played out the Jay stuff, you could have played out the Jimmy stuff, you could have played all these people coming back, but you want all these stars on one match for Crown Jewel. You know The Rock is probably going to make another weird appearance on Crown Jewel to be involved in this, so you get another name on Crown Jewel for that crap. Like, it every year we say the same thing, and it ruins storylines, and it just puts a pause on stuff, and it just makes everything crap.
Well, look at Punk. Punk literally left because he didn't want to do it.
And good for him.
Yeah. I'll do it one day, I'm sure. Whatever. Well, hey, good news for you. I mean, your least favorite pay-per-view is probably going to, I don't know if you know this, it's probably going to now lead to your least favorite Raw of all time, because they're taping Raw the next night in Saudi Arabia.
God.
I don't know if you knew that.
I forgot no, I did hear that. I forgot they were doing that.
Yeah. So they're taping Raw on Sunday. So we'll know Raw results sooner, but yeah. Thrilling, I know.
All right. Next point, we got Orton KO. This is the last Crown Jewel thing we'll talk about that led up to the matches. A lot of the matches in Crown Jewel I'm not even excited about. A lot of them storyline-wise aren't good, or there really is no storyline or not enough time to build them up. This one is another one that I think they kind of rushed, where you had KO literally a week ago say that I'm taking time away, I don't want to be around, blah, 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 and now a week later he's already back in a match in a pay-per-view. For what? You know why? Because Orton went to Papa H and called, again, so weird that Triple H was also confused that he was calling him out. But like, they showed the backstage segment, he whispered to Triple H in the backstage. Triple H blew him off and said, you got to go out because it's your promo time. What the fuck do you think he was going to talk about? And then goes out, calls out Triple H, and Hunter in the back's like, oh, what? Okay. And like takes off his headset. It's like, surprise, he has to go out and talk to him. It was just all weird, and I like overperformed in my opinion. And then just telling him, like,
I mean,
you're
Triple H.
You're protecting KO. You're protecting KO. You're protecting KO. And then Triple H is like, no, I'm protecting you from KO. Blah 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 blah. So now that sets up the match between KO and Orton at Crown Jewel. Great. And I do agree with you. I do think it's probably going to be a no contest. I think KO is going to beat the crap out of him before the match even starts, and it's not even going to start. But I was also thinking, what if not? If they're going to actually go through with the match, which they might because it's the pay-per-view, then I think the KO gets the win. So I'm back and forth on that. I don't know how I want that to go or how I think it's going to go.
Well, and maybe I'm wrong in this, but my main reasoning for that thinking is there's 7 matches on this show. Usually they only do 5, and they're doing 7.
Yeah.
So, like, do a quick one, no contest.
And 2 of them are multi-person matches, so like triple threat and a fatal 4-way. So
yeah. So I mean, and I just I feel like you can't have Orton win because you're trying to get Owens over as this newly healed person.
Yeah,
you can't.
No way.
So either Owens has to beat him, which I think is also too soon just to have him do cleanly.
Agreed.
So that's why I was thinking about picking Orton for doing Orton by DQ. That was going to be my reasoning.
I agree with you. Also, I think the no contest. I think before the match doesn't even get started. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
The last note for that segment was as Triple H is leaving, as he grants him the match, just slowly turns to Orton and says, "I hope to God you know what you're asking for."
Like, come on, man. Like, Jesus. No response. Next point.
Just need to let you know that. All right. Next up. Oh, and I forgot.
I can't believe it.
This is the last crown jewel point. I'm sorry, I forgot.
I can't believe Orton had the balls to put Triple H on screen too. He does not like that. Like, why? Whatever.
So
continue.
The Game 7 ending that you texted about, very confused, was very terrible. A week ago, Aldis announced that LA Knight would be the special referee for the Game 7 match. LA Knight was like, I have no business being there, but if you want me there, I'll be there, yada, yada, yada. Goes into the match, gets shoved, and then just beats them both, declares himself the winner, knows it's going to turn into a triple threat, pretty much doesn't care about it, tells Aldis, I told you I didn't belong there, I don't know why you put me there, you caused that, and then that's how the match got set up. Awful in my opinion. I really hated that these guys were even doing a Game 7. I hate that they called it Game 7. It is what it is. But then that's how you ended it. I don't know. It just sucked.
Yeah, my whole annoying thing with it is that it almost felt like they fell into this on accident. Like, this was never the plan. And that's the problem. Like, because I feel like they never even called any of them a best of 7 or a Game 1, a Game 3, a game. And that's just from what I've seen online and from what I've heard from you. And that's why I was confused reading their results, because it made it sound like LA Knight was being a heel. Where he's like, look at these losers, a bunch of losers in the ring, and da-da-da. And I was like it read like it was a heel LA Knight. And I was like, okay, maybe I missed something. That's why I asked you, who's the baby here?
Like,
who's the heel?
It's literally like the Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of esque of the way he talks to the opponents, but he's still the face.
So did they start, like, help me with the origin of Carmelo Andrade?
From what honestly, and keep in mind that I really didn't like the matches, so I wasn't really watching them. But all the backstage previews, segments and stuff, it wasn't even like they were planning like a best of 7 to go throughout. It seemed like they did a match here, they did a match here. Eventually, they're like, oh, they tied, they gotta do a tiebreaker. They did a match, then they did a tiebreaker, and it was like, cool. But for some reason, they did another match. It's like, oh, now we're all tied up again. And then I think by like match 5, that's when they started being like, oh, maybe this goes a little further. But they never said this was like a best of 7 series. They never said this was leading to a number 1 contenders. It's as if each time they faced off, that was a separate number 1 contenders, and then like it led to a best of 7. It's very fucking strange.
That's what I was trying to get to the bottom of. Like, did this start where like they both wanted? Because I know
Yes.
they both fought LA Knight individually for the U.S. title and lost before this hit.
Yes,
and
those
that's why
matches
I was like,
were
okay.
number 1 contenders matches against each other. So that's what I'm saying. Like they faced
So
off.
this started
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I picked Carmelo, because I feel like LA Knight winning, I feel like kind of hurts
weird.
the two of them.
I don't know.
And I feel like you need a payoff to the Game 7, so you need one of the two of them to win. And if you're telling me Andrade is a heel, my brain kind of goes, okay, Carmelo's the baby, give him the payoff.
It's strange. I don't know. All right, moving on. These next 2 points are not going to be that long.
Perfect.
Just number 1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. War Raiders are your number 1 contenders. No surprise there. When the tag match is, I have no idea. They have not announced it. But yeah, War Raiders. And I'm not going to lie, I was a War Raiders fan. They do look good. I am happy that they're going back to like their old style. They look like they're going to, be, if they win the tag belts, I think it's going to be good for the tag division in that sense. Just like Motor City Machine Guns, I think are going to be good for the tag division in SmackDown because they're going to highlight them as much as possible. I think for the time being, they are going to highlight the War Raiders. As far as I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the New Day part in this. Obviously, they lost the match. I'm not too happy about that. I don't remember the New Day part.
I feel terrible even asking this because I'm legit trying to remember. But who are even the Raw Tag Champs right now? What is it again?
Are you really excited for this? Here we go.
No, I'm trying to because I know
Judgment Day, bro. Finn Balor and JD
Is it
McDonough.
still them?
Yeah.
Is that from what? Oh my god.
This is why the whole Raw tournament was started because Adam Pearce gave Finn his time to go deal with the Damian Priest situation, and now it's time for them to defend their belts, bro. Terrible.
Terrible. And while I got a few seconds here just to jump in your time a little, are Theory and Waller hurt? Are they not on TV? 'Cause I was thinking about Waller earlier. Like, have they been ghosts?
Last time I saw them was in the Cody Owens feud. I haven't seen them since.
Okay, that's all. I had to ask because I feel like I haven't heard about them in a long time anywhere.
Or if they have been around, it hasn't been anything significant, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, that's all I got.
And then the last bit of news, Candice LeRae picking up another win on TV again. I'm really loving that they're giving her some time to shine. I really do.
That's that speed champ for you.
She got a good win versus Naomi this week. She's really into that Tiffany Nia Jax storyline where like she's being used as the person to make Tiffy jealous with Nia. Nia keeps saying like, I don't need you anymore. I found someone who can, like, you were sick. I found someone who can pick up the slack, yada yada yada. So I don't care about the Nia part, but like I'm glad that Candice LeRae is like the match was good. They gave them time. It wasn't like a 2-minute match. It wasn't a speed match. So yeah, no, I'm just enjoying that Candice LeRae is getting some time to shine, and she looks great. So she's really shining.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy for her. Hopefully it does go somewhere and it's not just a plot device for this.
I think it's just a plot device. I'm not going to lie to you. Because I don't think it's leading to any breakup with what's her face that she's with. I can't remember now. Damn, that's terrible of me. Whoever her partner is, I think it's going to lead to...
Candice or Tiffy?
Yeah, Candice.
Indy Hartwell?
There you go. Sorry, I couldn't remember Hartwell's name. So
yeah, well, I assumed it was still her.
Indy isn't really doing anything, but it doesn't look like it's going to lead to any kind of breakup. I think it's just going to be like, all right, we use you, you're disposable. Hopefully she gets a title shot after this, but I don't think anything past that.
So 2 quick women's notes for me to just get off my chest so I can know. First off, tag titles. Is there any reason for me to think? I know we all picked Jade and Bianca. Is there any reason to think any of the other teams are legit?
I'm not going to lie. I am on the fence. I do think any team can win. The way they've set this up where every team just kind of keeps getting screwed and there's really been no true number one contender. These are all like the kind of number one contenders for each brand, yada, yada, yada. No one's really been the leader of the pack. I don't know. Part of me really feels like it's going to be, and I can't pull up the page, and that's how, you know what, let me pull up the page while we're talking about it. Give me one second.
Yeah.
So part of me feels like it might be Metaphor, the way they've been showcased, the way they've just been highlighted as like being overlooked constantly. Damage Control, Cargill and Belair, even Green and Piper, they've been a little more focused on than Metaphor, but Metaphor is always in the mix. So there is a good reason to assume that they might win, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if Damage Control win. I wouldn't be surprised if they just give the belt to Chelsea just as like a surprise to get the belts off them. But I always go with Cargill and Belair until I have a good reason to think someone else is going to win it.
Okay.
That's just me.
All right.
And the Bronson Seth too. I don't know about that. Like, I hate the storyline. That's why I don't want to talk about it. But I don't know who's going to come out on top because Seth is the golden boy. But I think it's got to be Bronson. I think so too.
Whatever. What do we know? Saved by the Bell.
What do we know? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Really hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Try to talk about all the key points. I won't be watching Crown Jewel live. I'll be looking at the streams and trying to just get notes of good matches and try to check them out later. But
Live at 1 p.m. Eastern.
ugh, terrible time on Saturday, right?
Yes.
The worst. But yeah,
On the cock,
I'm hoping AEW gives us some good storylines moving forward. I'm hoping they kind of tie it up with whatever wasn't working. And let's see how they do with Adam Cole versus Malachi Black next week. I hope that match really is good. I'm looking forward to it. And the tag team match, Darby and OC, man, that's going to be a good tag team match. I really can't wait for that one too.
Hope so. We'll see. I'm honestly, at the last 2 weeks, I'm holding out judgment on AEW. I need a show with wrestling again.
That's totally fair. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to join us on Tuesday night after you vote or don't vote, whatever you choose to do. I personally don't care. Whatever you choose to do on Tuesday, come join us at 7 p.m. for our variety hour. We'll see you guys then.
And I have one more last minute plug for anyone still here. Just a reminder, tomorrow night I will be on Facebook with the Till 5 Wrestling crew doing our show. We're going to be talking about the history. Till 5 Wrestling, TILL, Till 5 Wrestling with Notorious ATB and Tanner. We will be discussing the history of Victory Road and its 20-year anniversary. So on the Facebook side, definitely come check us out. I'll be sharing the link before we go live at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Actually, 8 p.m. tomorrow. I'm sorry, wrong time. 8 p.m. tomorrow.
We're 7 p.m. They're 8 p.m. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
8 p.m.
Once again, have a great night. See you guys on Tuesday. Peace out, everybody.
Bye. Happy Halloweenies. What did he say? What did he say?
Right.
What did you say at the end?
Know,
what did he
Jill
say?
Stein.
Oh.
Cool. Think it was a good show.
Yeah.
And
Toggle off the mic so they can't hear us.
Just put the past behind you. I know she can't turn back time she ran, like it once was past beside you. So maybe someday soon, for the falling whispers, they were satisfied for the sailing disasters that'll cry tonight. She capitalized and I won't know and the rhythm of your heart as it breaks right down. Still I hear it sometimes, it's beating out loud. There's still a lot to say, just spit it right out, and you will hear sounds. She says she wants more from me. I gave her every damn piece of me. I wanna leave this whole thing, just give up and surrender. And the rhythm of your heart as it breaks right down. Still I hear it sometimes,